Alright, so what we're doing, they just put an old pin in it to get it out of the way Saturday. But they're going to be putting a new pin in. They were supposed to be putting a master link, but like I said, they don't have it in stock. So they're going to have to order it and then come back and redo all this again. But anyway, so what they're going to do is they're going to take this pin right here. They're going to take it, knock it out, and then drive a new pin in. And you can see how they got this piece of chain right there holding everything together where they get it out of the way. Anyway, we got y'all set up over there on the time lapse. Y'all gonna be watching that, and I'll be kind of in and out of here, kind of staying out of their way as much as possible, showing y'all what we got going on. They fixing to bring out this big old press, and they're fixing to press that in there. Real neat to watch. So anyway, y'all hang out. Alright, so this is what they're going to be using to put the pin in with. It's like a hydraulic press. They'll hook it up over the sides of those rails and they'll power it with that little old doohickey there. And like I said, it's pretty interesting, because anyway we've ever done tracks before, you take a 20-pound sledgehammer, you get somebody to hold that like a rod on the pin, you heat that pin up real hot, and you just knock the fire out of it. Ain't that right, Brady?
I ain't swinging on it.
You ain't swinging no hammer.
And I ain't holding the rail either.
Oh, you wussy.
I'm allergic to that. Every time I touch one of them, my hands get blistered and I start sweating.
Obviously. Shouldn't you be toting trash or something?
Letting it build up.
I'm gonna have to fire you.
I'm curious. I'm learning. What's gonna happen if we have to do this one day on our own?
We ain't. That's what they're there for. We gonna hire these people to come out and do it. Anyway, y'all hang out. Whenever they go to pressing this thing in, I'll let y'all watch.
I'm plenty wide to block a couple of people like.
It's going. That is driving that new pin in there. It's just, it'll go and then it'll pop, it'll go and then it'll pop. It just builds up pressure because it's tight, real tight. Y'all can see it coming through there. Y'all see how that right there where it's all eat up open looking? That's what we were trying to get out and get fixed, but they said they don't have it, so we're just gonna put it back together where we can make today and tomorrow with it, or whenever it's gonna take to come in, and then they'll come back and put me a new link in it. Y'all hang tight. Alright, so we got the pads put back on. We got, what they're doing now is he's putting grease in the adjuster, adjust it out. You can See, everything's put back together. New bolts. New pin. So they are saying my rails are wore pretty bad, which I knew it was getting bad. I don't know if y'all can see up in there or not. Probably not. But we're gonna keep running them till they just quit. So you can see this side sagging down real low too. It's got to be tightened up. Let's see here. So these are the blocks right here. This is the block that they added to it. The roller normally sets down here on this. They put long bolts in, and then you these little blocks to space that up. New rollers all the way around it. This should help. We'll see. Let's see, we have loaded, I believe, 8 for the day. I was fixing to leave and go over to the new spot and go look at it, but John Deere showed up, so I stayed here to get that video of that for y'all. Just as soon as they're done tightening up this one track side, I'm out of here. I gotta go check it out. I don't want to wait till the very end and not be able to not know what I've got going. We'll be back. Okay, so got to reshoot real fast my bedding timber video. I screwed up on it. I don't know what I was doing. I had the camera zoomed in like all crazy zoomed in. Anyway, all y'all could see was like my beard. Surely y'all didn't want to look at my beard and listen to me talk for 10-15 minutes. So anyway, bedded timber. What is bedded timber? Bedded timber means it's just like when they plant a cornfield and they go in and they pull up these little rows for the corn to be planted on because it breaks the soil. It's got nice, easy soil for the roots of the corn to get down in. Exact same scenario here. So this is one of the rows we skidded the other day in the rain. Ahead of the rain. Well, after a rain and before the big rain got here. So y'all can see here. Well, I say y'all can see. I'm trying to look on my camera screen here. It's always hard. So y'all see here where it's like dipped down looking, almost like a rut, and then the same thing here. It's kind of dipped down right there, almost like it's like a rut. Let me see if I can show y'all a little bit better with like this right here. I'm trying to get y'all down. Alright, you see where that stump is right there? And you got it's like a hump. Okay, it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same principle as planting any kind of garden, cornfield, anything like that, where you're trying to get your timber up, or your crop. You know, timber is a crop. So you're trying to get your crop, say you're planting a regular old garden, trying to get your crop up out of the hard, compact soil. Anybody knows anything about growing stuff, if you can give your roots something easy to penetrate, it's going to grow faster and easier. So instead of just sticking these things in the ground where you know, like this here, the ground is a real hard packed clay based material. It's not like what it is down where we normally work, you know, 30 miles south and a little bit east of here, mostly just due south of here. It is strictly like a, I mean, there's some clay, yes, but it's a silty, loam, sandy type soil. So the trees will penetrate the ground a lot better, and it's flat down there. Now, like here, it's just enough of a slope that, and the ground, it's just enough of a slope that it wouldn't completely shed itself of water, and the bedding would not prevent the water shedding off of it. That is one downfall that they were doing a few years ago in my area anyway, or they were bedding everything, and hills, everything. And then and doing contour planting. We'll save contour planting for another video. So they were doing the bedding for, you know, everything, like everywhere in my area. They were they were bedding everything. And then let's see, they started doing the bedding, and then we started going back places that were supposed to be good winter weather tracks to work, because they bedded it, and they bedded the track with the contour of the land, meaning if your heel was running this way, they planted their beds this way instead of, you know, down the hill. They were trying to prevent erosion. Stupid, I know. So good tracks that used to be good, you know, good ground, was no longer good ground because it was bedded. Aside of all that, what it does for the timber, it does two things. One, in areas where the ground does not have enough slope to really just wash the land clean, you know, the soil just really drains out, it's just a little bit of a slope, and the ground is really hard packed, and the timber grew poorly the first go around, or maybe the second go around, they will rip the ground, they will build these beds, and they will plant the trees on those beds, and then in a 12-year time frame, you won't have but a 35, 40 foot tall at the very most stalk of timber, but that thing is, you know, a good 8-inch, 9-inch budded stem. So I need to get me something to put y'all on when we're talking like this. My arms get tired. But anyway, so what that does is, instead of having to wait till 16 years of age to get that same size stem, the tree would be taller at 16 years of age, but it wouldn't be as fat because it couldn't get down in the ground as easy, and it could not grow out as easy because its root structure was really confined because it was in compact ground. So the timber grows better on the beds. Second reason they do this, and this is major in my area that I normally work in, the ground is absolutely flat. Flat. No little dips, no rolls, unless you go to getting beside a creek or some kind of big river waterway or something like that. Other than that, most of the place I work is flat. I mean, perfect level, flat. So it holds water, and like I just stated, it's a sandy surface, so there's not much root structure there, and it's water based. Your trees drowned, essentially, is what happens. So they cut these real tall, I mean, I've seen them as tall as, you know, 4 and 5 foot tall beds in places, and that, I mean, they were getting real extreme with them there. I think they kind of averaged out in the wet places to kind of knock off about a 3 foot bed, and today they really plant about a 2 foot bed, and then by the time we get in there and cut them, they're knocked down to about a foot tall. But anyway, it gets the root structure, the base of the tree, out of the water, and it lets that bed kind of pack in a little bit better, and then it gives the tree some more root structure to hang on to, and it grows down easier because it's, you know, it's sandy ground. But your tree, you have a higher survival rate because your ground, I mean, your tree is up out of the water that's standing there, you know, probably 3 months out of the year in some of those places down there, or longer. It's standing in just solid water. Now, for the logger, it creates lots of adversities because instead of having perfectly smooth, flat ground, you can go throw a rubber tire machine out on and just turn him loose, and that man cut you 12 loads a day. You're now going to be looking at best with the smaller beds about 10 loads a day, and on these taller beds, you're only going to be looking at like 8 loads a day. You cannot run your machine because you're not only going across, you know, this bed right here on your first row, you're going across your bed where your down row is, you're going across this down row, and then sometimes you have to go on across that third row out there as well. So whenever you start hopping all these rows, especially with a rubber tire cutter, your walking beams that your axles set on, or your tires, your axles and all that stuff. It's called walking beams. They have side-to-side movement, and then it's all mounted solid. It's not supposed to go twist front, back, anything like that. You keep ramming these beds, twisting and everything like that, trying to make production. You start beating the walking beams out of these things. You start beating center pins out, your head up there where it's just boom, boom, boom all day long. It's beating that to death. It's knocking those pins and bushings out. On skidders, all your pins and bushing systems where it mounts to the machine. I can go show you on the Tiger Cat where that skidder stayed a lot in really deep bedded first thinning the first part of its life before we bought it. I mean, it's rough on your machines. Kind of rumored was they started doing that so much. They started doing so much bedding for one purpose of they were trying to transition everybody over into on company land anyway, owning a track machine. And if you're on a track machine, you sit out here in your down row and you reach out there to that second row. There's no twisting, no turning, there's no jumping the beds. The only thing your skidder has to do is go across the beds into access, and then after a few rows, he's got that filled up with trash, and he just keeps working his trash down the rest of the way. And he's got a green interstate highway run down through there. It's a trade-off. You usually end up with a faster product to cut with bedded timber. You end up with a better stand of timber for the logger to cut and more for the landowner to make profit off of that. But in the long scheme of things, it's hard on your equipment, especially if you're a rubber tire only job. And not to mention, y'all, the operators themselves, good Lord. Those guys are riding in those machines a solid 8. A lot of the bigger jobs are high, the other jobs out here, they'll run 10 hours a day, and they'll run one skidder and one rubber tire cutter, some of them will. You have beat that man to death inside that machine. He gets off that thing at the end of the day, he needs a cane to walk to his truck. So it's one of those things, you have this double-edged sword. It's good for the timber people. You get good timber usually to work with, but then you're going to beat your equipment to pieces. So I don't know, but that's what bedded is. Bedded timber means your trees are planted up on a hump. Whenever they plant it to begin with, it's anywhere from 2 to, on average 2 and 3 foot tall hump. They stick the tree in it down through here either by hand or with a dozer, and then 12 years later it's able to be thinned usually. There's 100 other variables I can throw in on this, but that's the most basic and average condensed down version of this I can give y'all. We'll wrap this one up. We appreciate everybody for watching. All the new subscribers, love it. Thank y'all so much. Can't appreciate everybody enough. A lot of cool stuff fixing to happen with the channel, I think. A lot. So y'all just hang out, stay tuned. If you're not subscribed, go down below, click the subscribe button for me, hit the like button, drop a comment. And for those of y'all that are asking questions, I promise I'm not ignoring y'all. I'm writing these down, and instead of answering every question in one lump sum, I'm taking y'all's questions and comments, and I'm making content out of that for y'all. Instead of me showing y'all these things working, y'all have questions. Instead of me just showing y'all something working and then answering somebody's question in private, answer a question while I'm showing y'all how this stuff works. So anyway, like I said, appreciate everybody. I honestly, I can't appreciate everybody enough. I've got a lot of big stuff in store. Things are it's really starting to, guys, really starting to kick in now. So I've got to stay on my toes with this. So anyway, like I said, we appreciate everybody. you're not already subscribed, please go down and subscribe. It's completely free. All you got to have is a YouTube account. All you got to have a YouTube account is an email address. So, yeah, y'all go do that. We're out of here, y'all. Till tomorrow. Till the next one. Hopefully it's tomorrow. We'll catch y'all next time.